Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is going to be like my first full length long video that I've made, mainly because the topic that we're talking about today is something that we've all seen on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, where you have these people out here who are getting arrested for not any of the crimes that you hear about in the news. No, these people are getting arrested because they are lying about having cancer and receiving cancer treatment. So particularly, I found these two stories that I thought were interesting, to say the least. We've seen on TikTok her whole story, faking videos, pictures about receiving cancer treatment, being in the hospital, like that girl. These two people I didn't hear a lot about, but I did see their story. One of them has a podcast about all the things that she did and a 4-part docuseries over on Hulu by the name of Scamanda. And I was very interested. I was like, wow, I've never heard of this person before. This came out like a couple years ago, recently of the 2020s, but I never heard of it. And maybe I did and I like blocked it out of my memory because I'm like, who the fuck does that? Like, why are you like this? Before we get any further into the story, I do want to say, if you are subscribed, thank you for subscribing. And if you are watching the video and you like what you hear, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification to get notified when I post my next video. First, we have Mrs. Amanda Riley. She is described as a Christian blogger and mother of two. She lived with her husband Corey, and two sons. The oldest born of May 2012. The other was born April 2014. Keep these years in mind because they're gonna roll in a little later here with those details. In San Jose, California. Corey does have another child from a previous marriage that he was in. They share a daughter who is an adult now that after everything played out. I thought this little tidbit was interesting to me because I read in an article about how Corey and Amanda met. Corey was married to a lady named Alita, and she had two daughters, and they shared the daughter they have. Jessa is her name. And Alita and Corey hired Amanda when she was 17 years old to give cheer and dance lessons to their other daughter, who was also 17 years old at the time, who was immunocompromised and being treated for cancer. So I thought it was very interesting because Amanda was 17. There's a 12-year age gap between Amanda and Corey, because Corey, when Amanda was 17, was 29, grown man, 401k, got a whole wife, children, 39 years old, and he meets Amanda when she's 17. Now, I'm not saying they did anything. Corey and Alita do get divorced, and then I don't know how long after. It didn't say. I couldn't find how long after Corey and Alita got divorced that Amanda and Corey got together, because Amanda does go off to college. She did her thing, she grew up. So yeah, Amanda went to college, after she graduated from high school. And in the docuseries on Hulu and in a few articles that I found, it says that her classmates would say that she was frequently absent from her job for citing she was ill, she didn't feel good. They noticed there was a pattern that she was developing, always saying she was sick and had to miss work. Her job was an RA. Corey and Alita got divorced. Corey and Amanda got married in 2011. They say that the divorce was amicable at first, but it seemed like things changed once Corey and Amanda got together. They went ahead in court and filed for full custody of Corey and Alita's daughter, Jessa, and Amanda began calling her her bonus daughter. When Amanda was teaching the cheer and dance when she was 17 years old, Jessa was 6 months at the time. She was the baby at the time. They both claimed that Alita was unstable and deliberately trying to alienate Jessa from her father. Alita and Jessa both say that no, those were not true. Those statements and those claims are false. Not too long after, Amanda dropped that she was fighting and diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Told this to her friends, family, and shared it online through her blog called Lymphoma Can Suck It, where she posted pictures, she told stories, she was describing, how she felt during her cancer treatment, just documenting like her whole cancer process. Or through her online presence, she was getting support, care. People were sending her gifts, helping with travel expenses, financial support, to help babysit when she needed it. One gift was very interesting because she got invited by country singer LeAnn Rimes. And she got a signed guitar. And then I saw her face. I looked up LeAnn Rimes and I saw her face. And I'm like, that's that lady that's married to the dude with the dimples, Eddie Tripion. And then I remembered he was married to Brandy Glanville, who is from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And they were married for quite some time. It was like 2001 to 2010 or 11, I think. But they were married. And I was like, oh, okay. She did what, every other cancer story does. She posted pictures of her shaved head. She falsified medical records, doctor's appointments, bills. She forged letters from doctors just so she can keep the story going and show the people that, she was going through this tough time and she needs support, and basically like anytime she received money from online, it went straight to her personal bank account and she basically used it for living expenses. So she wasn't working. She was living off the money basically that she was getting from the people online. And in addition to that, when Corey and Alita were going through their whole custody case, they tried to argue that Amanda's illness was a medical hardship for them in order to lower Corey's child support to his daughter, Jessa. So not only is she just lying on the internet, now you're involving your husband's child where he's supposed to be paying child support to her, and you're making enough money and you are saying that your illness is a medical hardship, so he needs to send less money to his daughter. That's what you're okay. Yep. She went about this for years, but she eventually got bust out because her friend, her and Amanda were swimming at someone's backyard pool. It says she was swimming around. Amanda, she was swimming all around, going underwater, doing what you do at a pool party. And she ended up telling her friend that earlier she had to get fluid drained off of her brain. And then not long after, she's swimming around in the pool, putting her head underwater, all that stuff. And it made the friend stop, think for a second. I was like, wait, you just had a procedure done on your brain. There's no way that anyone would let you, one, leave the hospital after doing that, two, go swimming. Make it make sense, because it doesn't. Friend's like, no, that doesn't make sense. And I was like, if you're lying about that, what other things are you lying about? What other things did you make up over the years? And so the friend sought out this investigative journalist, Nancy. She was a producer looking for scam stories for a TV show, Crime Watch Daily, when she got this tip from Amanda's friend. And she then started investigating and looking into all the things that Amanda was saying and all the things she was posting online. And throughout her investigation, Nancy contacted several hospitals and doctors to, again, look at all the things, the medical records, the forged doctor's notes, all of that. Look at that, because only another doctor can tell you what you're looking at right now and if it makes sense or not. And they pointed out multiple inconsistencies with Amanda's blog post and what they would typically see in cancer patients and those who are receiving treatment, which is including getting pregnant and giving birth twice while receiving cancer treatment. According to the Cleveland Clinic, your ovaries are very sensitive when you are getting chemotherapy, and often you stop getting your period, you don't ovulate while you're on treatment, and it basically puts the body in a menopausal state and can reduce the number of eggs in the ovaries. So if you're on chemotherapy, it's going to be very difficult to get pregnant twice. This one doctor said that your period coming back after chemotherapy doesn't guarantee that you can conceive. If pregnancy is your goal, you should consult with a reproductive endocrinologist and an infertility specialist before starting chemo. But she's a liar, so she didn't do none of that. After Nancy finished her findings, after she finished her investigation, she sent all her information over to a financial crime detective in San Jose, and they did their investigation for some time, looking into all the things that Nancy had and getting proper police work done. They sent their investigation over to the IRS, who did their own investigation into the financial side of everything, and they flagged her in the system, which led to them raiding her home. Amanda was consistent. She stayed lying. Once the IRS did their thing, they charged Amanda with wire fraud, where, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office, a total of 349 individuals and entities contributed a total of $105,513. That's not including any cash donations that she received or gift cards. So it could be so much more than this. She pleaded guilty to wire fraud, obviously, because there's way too much information in that shit for you to sit there and deny any fucking thing. In federal court, she admitted that her intent was to deceive people into believing she had cancer, and in doing so, to convince them to donate money to her. In truth, as I knew, I did not have Hodgkin's lymphoma and have never been diagnosed or treated for Hodgkin's lymphoma or any other type of cancer. She was sentenced to serve 60 months in federal prison, Federal Medical Center in Carswell in Fort Worth, Texas, in order to pay restitution equaling the amount of money that was donated to her. Additionally, she will be under supervised release for 3 years when she is done with her 60-month sentence in Texas. Corey hasn't been faced with any charges for the fundraising scheme, even though he did benefit from it. But, technically it wasn't him saying she had cancer, I guess. It was her. It was all of her posts. It was all of her pictures. It was her doing most of the work. He was just benefiting from her lies. And he tried to get his child support reduced. I don't know, maybe that's a family court thing, not really like a federal court thing. That's more family court. He's currently raising his 2 kids in Texas, where they are close to where Amanda is serving her sentence. I did see a couple articles that said that they are in the midst of a divorce. I didn't see if it was finalized or not. It did say they were in the midst of a divorce. So after she was sentenced, she did say, "This is the worst thing that I have ever done and the worst mistake I could have made. I don't sleep well at night because this haunts me daily. I can't even look at myself in the mirror without feeling ashamed, and I am so sorry." Aww. Aww. Shut the fuck up. Of course, she loved to lie. She was transported to the ER a total of 24 times during her first 18 months, claiming she had a rapid heartbeat, she had chest pains, there was a cut on her head. She probably just did that her fucking self. Her attorney tried to plead with the court that Amanda needed to be released early and that her claims are legitimate, and citing that she isn't receiving the proper treatment for her asthma, low blood pressure, and other medical ailments. But the judge said no. The judge said because the prosecutors found that Amanda was caught trying to manipulate test results by holding her breath during her oxygen saturation readings, because liars love to lie. She was released in late December of 2024 from her sentence in Texas and then transferred to a residential reentry center in Southern California for the remainder of her sentence. There was some doctors who were treating her while she was during her sentencing, where she was seeing doctors regularly for her mental illness. 3 doctors suggested that she could have Munchausen syndrome, and the 4th doctor made an official diagnosis that she has Munchausen syndrome, which is the psychological disorder in which a person pretends to be sick purposely to produce illnesses, symptoms of illnesses, usually to gain sympathy and attention and money. They should add that in money, because that's why they're doing this, for attention and money. The other half of this that we've seen was most notable from the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, which is Munchausen by proxy syndrome, and it is the mental health condition where a caregiver fabricates or induces illness in someone under their care, usually a child, to gain sympathy and attention and money. Add that in there, and money. In the docuseries, Jessa, Corey's daughter, revealed that she hasn't seen her father or Amanda in a very long time. She was really hurt, but also kind of relieved when the whole case ended. That was Amanda Riley. Again, if you want to get more details into this madness, this insanity, be sure to go over to wherever it is that you listen to your podcast and the 4-part docuseries with the same name, Scamanda, over on Hulu. Next, we're gonna meet Sarah Jane Cavanaugh, and I'm gonna be really honest with you, this one made me the most frustrated. I laugh because it's so because it's one thing to lie about cancer. That's gross within and of itself. It's absolutely distasteful behavior. It's another thing to work as a social worker in a veterans hospital and steal an actual veteran's cancer information for yourself. It's absolutely deplorable behavior to sit there and steal someone else's medical records and write your name on it and then claim to the world that you are a military cancer patient. Bitch, what? No. Sarah was a social worker at the Rhode Island Veterans Hospital. During her time at the hospital, she used her position to steal a veteran's cancer patient information, including their medical records, their personal information, and their military documents, to create fraudulent documents to pass off as her own and as a decorated Marine Corps veteran with cancer. That's stolen valor, number one, the act of falsely claiming military service and honors. So you stole this patient's information, falsified it, and then are claiming to be a military veteran with cancer. Oh, child. She claimed she was dishonorably discharged after serving in both Iraq and Afghanistan in 2009 to 2016, and she rose in the ranks to corporal. She claims that she was suffering injuries from IED and contracted lung cancer from the exposure to the burn units and inhaling particulate matter. She not only stole this person's information and made up this whole lie about being in war and suffered because these are things that she hears while she's at the veterans hospital. These are stories from actual veterans. These are people coming in who have been in battle, who have been in war, and you're using their stories and you're piecing it together to make up your own lie. She attended public speaking events in military uniform, wearing a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star. She showed up full head to toe military attire, wearing a Purple Heart, which is the most prestigious military decorated awards to U.S. service members who are or have been wounded or killed in action to recognize their service and bravery. This is the oldest military award, and the Bronze Star is to recognize heroic achievement in combat. She's done none of those things, but yet here she is parading around telling lies. Others who are in the military and, are listening to her stories, listening to her lies about how she was so brave in the war, a war she was never in. Girl. It gets worse. Unfortunately, it gets so much worse. It always gets worse. At one point, she stated that she couldn't afford insurance deductibles for her cancer treatment that she did not need. Apparently, the same veteran whose information she stole, unbeknownst to them, agreed to pay the deductibles for her, which was around $600 a month. You stole all this shit using stories that you've heard while working in the veterans hospital. Then you say you cannot pay your insurance deductible for cancer treatment you don't need. And then the person whose shit you stole agrees to pay it for you. $600 a month. Bitch, what? She accepted more than $225,000 from the Wounded Warriors Project between 2017 and 2021 to help pay. Now listen to me now. To help pay for her yoga classes, gym memberships, groceries, and physical therapy that she did not need. She told people at the gym, because of the injuries to her hands and fingers, she's not able to tie her own shoes. Somebody gotta get down on their knees and tie her shoes for her whenever she work out. Girl. No. No. She received around $18,500 in financial assistance from the Code of Support in Virginia to help pay for her bills, and another $4,700 from a fundraiser from online. She tried to request financial assistance from another foundation called Hunter 7 Foundation. They sat out and squinted because they saw her name, and they started doing their own investigation, and they found all of the lies. She was never in the military. She's not a corporal in the military. She doesn't have a Purple Heart or a Bronze Star. She was never there. She's a liar. She was charged with wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, forgery, and fraudulent use of metals. One person in court testified that because of Sarah's lies, she took away a spot in a therapeutic veterans program that could have rightfully gone to an actual veteran who really needed it, but they were denied because of Sarah. They took their own life. She received approximately $15,000 from that program, money and help and support that could have went to an actual veteran. She took that opportunity away from them. Her defense sought to only have her serve 2 years, not a fuck enough, claiming that her lack of criminal history, low risk of reoffending, and the significant price she paid for from the public disgrace, because your actions were disgraceful. So yeah, loss of her professional license, her marriage ended, rightfully so, and all the online scrutiny she is receiving, including death threats, and I do not condone anyone sending death threats to anyone. That is also gross behavior, not okay, deplorable. The judge presiding over the case ordered Sarah to pay full restitution, absolutely, for a total it's $284,796.82. Girl, pissing me off. She was sentenced to serve 70 months in prison, which is equal to around 5 years and some change. Not enough. Her attorney stated in court documents that she suffered from severe trauma during her formative years of high school and developed a connection with veterans she cared for through her job. Oh, girl, we don't care. You stole that person's medical information to use for your own gain, to make money and get attention and care from people for an illness you never had in the first fucking place. And then you lied, claiming that you were a military veteran, taking away money, support from actual veterans who really needed it. But because, again, liars love to lie, and you deserve more years in jail because that's absolutely horrible behavior. The judge also ordered the federal government to reinstate the federal employee paid leave that was donated to Sarah, which totaled around 261 hours, which is around 10 days and 21 hours. That could have went to somebody who actually fucking needed it. It's gross behavior. It's insulting to veterans. It's insulting to those who are currently serving in the military. Yeah, I'm over it. And if you haven't already, go check out the Scamanda podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, and check out the 4-part docuseries with the same name, Scamanda, over on Hulu. That has been all for today's video. If you like this video and want to see more like it and support my channel, please be sure to like and subscribe and show some love down in the comments section below. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell to get notified when I post my next video. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.